We've all got those family heirlooms, right? The ones tucked away, maybe a bit dusty, perhaps a little odd. You know, the kind of pieces that make you think, I wonder what the story is there. But what if one of those quirky treasures turned out to be worth a small fortune? And not just a fortune, but a five-figure, running-away fund kind of fortune? Well, that's exactly what happened on a recent episode of Antiques Roadshow, and trust me, you're going to want to hear this. It's a story that proves you never quite know what sparkle or cash is hiding in plain sight. The unassuming box and a jaw-dropping reveal. Picture this. A guest walks onto the set, armed with not one, but two brooches. Now, these weren't just any brooches. These were the kind that made BBC jewelry specialist Joanna Hardy, a true gem connoisseur, absolutely light up. When I opened the box and saw this opal, Joanna gushed, "Oh my gosh, it is superb." And then I opened another box and see this fabulous diamond. Talk about an entrance. But before Joanna could dive into the dazzling details, she had to know the backstory. "Tell me first," she asked, "how did you get the opal?" The guest, charmingly practical, explained that the stunning opal actually came from her husband's family. His father, a man with a clear affection for unique stones, had brought it back from Australia. And here's where the real talk started. I just have to say at the beginning as well, that I have given all of these already to my daughters. Jonah, with a laugh, called it the caveat, and it just made the reveal even more fun. This wasn't just about appraising a piece, it was about uncovering a family legacy, one that was already being passed down. The opal, a rainbow of good fortune. Let's talk about that opal for a second. Joanna explained that opals are incredibly ancient, over 100 million years old, and that black opals like this one are especially rare. And when she said black opal, she clarified it's not actually black, but has a dark background that allows the vibrant colors to truly pop. "This is just a fabulous example," Joanna marveled. "I mean, it is the complete color of a rainbow, and they've always been a sign of good luck. I know people think that opals are bad luck, but they're not. And as for its setting, late Victorian period, museum quality, surrounded by wonderful graduating cushion-shaped diamonds, set in silver and gold. Sounds absolutely breathtaking, right? It's hideous. The brooch that shocked everyone. Now for the moment we've all been waiting for." Joanna, still beaming from the opal, turned her attention to the second piece, the diamond brooch. When she asked about its history, the guest's response was, shall we say, a bit unexpected. "I think it's hideous," she stated with a bluntness that made Joanna burst out laughing. "Now that's not what I was expecting you to say," Joanna exclaimed, clearly amused. "Well, it's completely unwearable, and it's known in the family as the soup plate," the guest explained, adding with a shrug, "Don't ask me why it got called the soup plate. I have no idea, but it came to our family through an uncle who used to do a grand tour in the summers." This soup plate brooch had quite the journey. It eventually made its way to the guest's mum and then briefly to her elder brother. But it wasn't long before the brother, in a moment of true sibling need, came tapping on his mum's door. "Actually, Mum, what I really need is a septic tank," he'd said. And her reply? "Well, if I can give you money for the septic tank, I'll have my brooch back." Talk about a practical exchange. The diamond's true sparkle, even if it was a little yellow. Joanna, still chuckling, explained that the soup plate was a Victorian silver and gold brooch with an impressive 8-carat diamond that could even be worn as a pendant. The center stone was, as she put it, quite large. The guest, however, was still a tough crowd. "Yeah, it is quite big, but it's not a very pretty one though. It's a sort of slightly dull yellow." Jonah, ever the expert, agreed that it did have a bit of yellow, which traditionally would mean a lower price. But then she dropped some serious knowledge. "But things have really changed in the last decade. There's been more appreciation of stones that are not your flawless. They all look the same. They've all got the same proportions." She went on to say, "This I can feel the hand of the cutter because it's not totally done by machine, it's done by hand." What a beautiful way to put it, celebrating the unique, human touch in a world often obsessed with perfection. The running away fund revelation, and now for the grand final, the moment of truth. Joanna had the delightful task of appraising these two extraordinary pieces. She started with the hideous diamond brooch. That is going to be in the region of around about £35,000. The guest's face was a mixture of surprise and disbelief. Right, was all she could manage. But Joanna wasn't done. So with the opal at auction, you'd be looking at £40,000 comfortably. That's a grand total of £75,000. The visitor was still reeling, but then with a twinkle in her eye, she unexpectedly joked, "Well, my daughter will be very pleased. It'll be her running away fund too." Joanna, clearly delighted by this, had to ask, "So it had been your running away fund?" And with a burst of enthusiasm, the guest confirmed it. What a truly fantastic and wonderfully relatable moment. It just goes to show you that those seemingly forgotten items, the ones you might even consider hideous, could be holding incredible value, both in monetary terms and in the stories they tell. As Joanna beautifully concluded, "Thank you very much for bringing them in. It really has made my day, and honestly, hearing this story made ours too. So, next time you're rummaging through old boxes, take a closer look. You never know what hidden treasures, or what kind of running away fund, you might uncover."